And I'm going to start letting people in. Yeah, we've got Sally, Erlene, Sarah Jane, and Barb in so far.
There's another Sally, is there?
Yes, is it another Sally or is it Sally, what?
Oh, sorry, Sally. I may have counted you in that. It's interesting that I'm not hearing anyone or seeing any videos yet. Oh, some of them are turning on
There.
now. It might
Okay,
have been set
great.
to automatically
Hi,
be off.
is it Erlene? Is that correct?
Erlene, yes.
Erlene and Sarah Jane, welcome. We'll just wait a couple of minutes. I think there's a couple more people that are here, right, Eric? Are there?
Yeah, not everyone has their video on just yet.
Mhm.
And some people might be the listening type, prefer to stay in
Oh,
the background
I
too.
hope not, because there's so few of us.
Well, Catherine has just joined too.
We could make a lot of noise anyway.
Yeah, it's not the typical webinar because this is street theater and it's we always prefer to be right in the same room with people. Um, so there's not going to be lots and lots of notes or talking heads, hopefully. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
The
Okay.
new aspect of theater. Theater through Zoom.
You can do a lot of theater through Zoom.
Yeah.
But uh, yeah, you really have to prepare for it. So
If we were to meet, where would we meet?
if we were to meet, well,
Where would we meet?
well, it would depend on where people are.
Yeah,
So we'll
that's
find that out as we go along. What
okay.
people are, from different areas. Some of us do meet. Hello, Nora. So, Eric, is there anyone else in the waiting room? Are we?
Nope, no one in their waiting room at the second. I just allowed one more person in, but I'll keep an eye on it for
Okay.
anyone else who joins.
So, if people are fine with this, I think we should get started. Okay. Um, welcome to our very first street theater Zoom, and uh, this is kind of a first for some of us to do it this way. Um, your facilitators tonight are myself, Ginny Thompson, and Sally, I'm going to mispronounce her last name, Wotton, and
Watson, Sally Armour Watson.
Wotton. And so for myself, I'm the chair of the Culture and Innovative Tactics Committee. And
Hi. I
I,
I came in. I don't think a teller's going to be able to tell me about this. I just wanted to know what this meant. I have this with you, and it seemed like some kind of renewal notice. And I came here to have it done. I sat in this office actually, so I
sorry,
thought I'd come
who's
back.
speaking? Who's speaking? This is a Zoom meeting on Street Theater.
That was Catherine. I just put her on mute temporarily in case
Oh,
that was a
okay.
conversation unrelated to this call.
Okay. All right.
Sometimes people get phone calls during a meeting.
Yep. Yep. So anyway, I'm the chair of the Culture and Innovative Tactics Committee, and I pursued my love of theater. I actually took courses through Toronto Metropolitan University, a 50 plus program. I did that after I retired as an early childhood educator. And So things like including commedia dell'arte, if anyone's familiar with that, and some clowning. And then within the culture and innovative tactics, along with my other committee members, I helped to shape and perform in a number of street theater pieces for Scan. So that's me, and over to Sally.
All right. I'm Sally Armour Lawson, and my first career was theater in New York City for a number of years, and then I have taught drama for many years. I specialized in puppetry, particularly marionettes, but that's in my bag of tricks, I guess. And I have directed short pieces and created them and directed full-length plays here in Toronto at the Center for the Performing Arts in North York. So I also am an adjunct professor at Trinity College at U of T until the last 2 years, I guess. Um, and um, and of course, we're doing the street theater production, which I'll tell you more about later, with Scan, and we're doing it with a form of puppets.
Thank you, Sally. So we want to get to know you. It's a small group, so you can let us know, introduce yourself, where you're from, and just what your interest is in street theater, and what your interest and or skills that you bring to this. Can we start with David? I'm just going to look down my screen here.
Delighted. I'm David Smith. I'm from Toronto. And I think the arts have such a huge impact on people's ability to imagine stuff and carry the stories forward from what they've seen and heard. And I'm actually delighted to hear, Ginny, that you took all these courses from TMU because I thought, yeah, yeah. So unfortunately, uh, when Ontario still had grade 13, theater wasn't offered in my high school until I was in grade 13, and it wasn't open to us. And so I never got to take any of those theater courses. So you've given me the idea of TMU. Thank you.
They would love to have you. I can give you more information on that later. Thank you. Sarah Jane.
Hi, just a second. I have to make sure I'm not muted. I'm not muted, am I?
Nope, we hear you loud and clear. It's good.
Okay, I haven't had much. I'm a professional journalist, and I was a high school teacher, and I'm an activist. So I did some street theater years ago for Co-op Radio in Vancouver. It was just very impromptu, and it really wasn't structured. So I haven't had a lot of experience, but now that I have more time, I would like to take that modality. I think it's great. It's better than a rally and what do we want? I mean, it's narrative and more imaginative than just shouting chants.
Thank you, Sarah.
Sarah Jane, if you call
Sarah Jane, thank you. Yeah, and I must say that all of these different professions come in like so important when you're in a group, like all of those skills, like with a journalist, there'd be many. There'd be the writing skills, but there would also be the interviewing skills and how to mock interview, those kinds of things. So lots of fun. Erlene.
Hi, everyone. I'm in Vancouver, and I'm interested as well as a Suzuki Elder here, as well as a Seniors for Climate member. The Suzuki Elders here have worked a lot with young people around looking at eco-anxiety through the arts. And so we've done poetry and the visual arts in the past, and we're working on a graphic novel right now. But I sort of see this as an opportunity for something new and something sort of engaging. We're trying to find ways to engage the unengaged already, but who are concerned about all of these issues. So that's where my interest comes.
Oh, that's so just this sharing right away, like we're learning different ways, the poetry aspect of it, which we
Yeah.
have not done a lot of in our group. So this is good. Nora.
Nora, are you there?
Hi, yes, I'm from the Guelph area, Eden Mills, and I'm part of the Raging Grannies. So we do a form of street theater to a certain extent, but it is more what you were talking about, so Jane, with the call and response type of thing. I've done some improv skit type of things in theater, and I actually helped run a communications course for interviewing skills at the vet college. So I've done some improv acting, but I have not done large scale street theater. I think it can be effective for getting people's attention and hopefully making them pause and think differently. But yeah, I'm interested in finding out more.
Wonderful. And Barb.
Barb Anderson, can you hear me?
Yep,
I can't figure out how to get my video working. I'm
it
also.
is working. It's
Oh,
good.
can you
Yeah.
see me?
Yep.
Oh,
Yes,
oh,
perfect.
I can't see me. So you see me drinking my pre-dinner wine. Oh no. I also am with Scan Guelph, like Nora, I'm a member of the Raging Grannies here. This is all new to me. We just started this during the October 1st event, and that was my first exposure to doing any kind of street theater. I sing in a choir. I guess that's a bit of performance. Former teacher, former fundraiser, and interested in finding out more about how we can have fun and also raise consciousness.
Well, this is terrific. I would say if you've been a teacher, you've been doing it
Yeah.
all along, right? Every day. And so all of these skills, we've got them all, and people really love to use them. So we'll move on to we've had an intro from Sally, but what Sally is going to do is just lead a short discussion on like what you understand what street theater is. What's your understanding of that? You want to take that away, Sally?
Sure. So that's the question. Some of you have touched on that already in your own introductions, but what is street theater, perhaps as opposed to any other kind of theater? What does it suggest to you? What would you say it is? Anybody want to take a stab at that? Kind of a definition.
Well, I don't have a definition, but I would say that street theater usually takes place outdoors. We've done it in other places like seniors' home, but it's ideal outdoors.
Anybody else have a characteristic that they think might be unique to street theater?
Well,
The idea of a pop-up comes to mind. So whether it's singing or acting or dancing, or I guess I've never really seen any poetry reading done in a pop-up situation, but music.
I think it's usually trying to spread some sort of message or trying to get some engagement from its audience, like some buy-in on whatever the theater is about. So it's usually not just amusement. It's usually has a teaching purpose or a message or some background to it.
Or some inherent participation.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, welcome, Sherry. Hi, we just got started. Well, as soon as we finish this discussion, we'll have you introduce yourself, okay?
Sure.
Yeah, that's a really good point, that it's trying to convey a message, and that's certainly what we're trying to do in SCAN through that and through storytelling. I would add to that, and participatory, as you were saying, from the audience. They participate. Anything else? Because, yeah, Sherry.
Well, less staging and simple props, I would imagine.
Yeah. Simplicity.
I like the idea that was it David who suggested it's like a pop-up, and I hadn't ever thought of it that way, but it is a new venture that suddenly one comes upon standing in the park or wherever you are.
Yeah, I think the surprise element, I mean, it doesn't always have to be a surprise element, but there's usually noise and excitement and drama to try and get the audience to come because it's not a paying audience usually. So you have to be somewhat larger than life and encouraging and yeah, be it drums or music or whatever, but you have to make noise to make yourself known because again, it's not a ticketed performance. So I think this sort of, yes, grandiose, bigger, blah, blah, blah. Anyway,
right. Colorful, bigger than life.
Yeah.
The drum is a great thing to use. So I've talked to other people that have done street theater, and the drum is used a lot even to call people over, or music to get them to come over to the event. So yeah, is there anything else, Sally? Because we'll
I
add
think
to this part.
One of the original street theater productions would be Punch and Judy. So anyway, on that note, Bill, thanks for all of your contributions and your concepts of street theater. I think they're very creative and imaginative.
Yes. So we had Sherry enter. Sherry, we asked people at the beginning just to say their name, where they're from, and just what their interest or skills are for street theater.
Okay. My name's Sherry Hillman, and I'm in the Kawartha chapter of SCAN and also the Indigenous Solidarity Committee. And in our SCAN Kawartha group, we work closely with some young people, high school students, green advocates. And I'm thinking, we really need to break out of the mode of just rallies, demonstrations, speakers, and do something more creative and engaging, especially, for them. And also, hopefully, that they would be interested in participating in. I tried to get them interested in, and I'm having a seniors moment. What was the thing that you did in Toronto with the dance
Well, the
stuff?
flash mob.
Flash mob.
Yeah.
But they weren't quite ready for that. But so I'm thinking maybe street theater might be a step back and easier to engage in. And yeah, just stuff that you can have fun with and make the political points. And I'm not sure what skills I bring to that, probably not much. But the other thing that kind of motivates me is I've got my 4-year-old granddaughter in drama classes and she's loving it. So I think the least I can do is some street theater stuff.
Oh, that's wonderful. And the important thing that we didn't mention at the beginning, the part about street theater, is it's fun. And I feel we really need to have fun in order to build our relationships and sustain ourselves, because there's a lot of stuff happening that isn't very nice. So the fun part shouldn't be underestimated. And the involvement, a number of people have mentioned it, is intergenerational. We haven't, we had a little bit of that start to happen with the flash mob. We had some people join us in the practice and things, and that was really fun. And our ideal was to have grandchildren or any younger children, whatever relationship they are to you, participate with us. But on October 1st, but of course it was a school day. So there's differences in timing and things like that, but that would be ideal, really, to have something where you have both together. So we're going to move on a little bit here. Eric, I didn't introduce Eric. He's the techno person here, and he's just going to put on the first slide because I thought I would just spend a couple minutes on what our very first street theater was and kind of how we came up with it. And you might recognize some of the people that are in this this photo. So there's our recipe for disaster, and you can see our co-chair Nick and our Orlando Buonastella, who many people might know, who's also in the Culture and Innovative Tactics Committee, and they're with their fossil fuel soup here. And this one, um, this one came about when we talk about we're trying to convey something to the audience, a message. And it was actually a discussion that Terry Moore and David Robertson did, one of the very first SCAN meetings that I went to on the policy of the federal government. And so how do you possibly present that to the public? And that meeting, they had breakout rooms, and they actually had brainstorm on what are some of the ideas of how we could present this. And I believe the paper has in it something about recipe for success or something like that. And so people just started taking off on cooking and chefs and stuff. And that's really where it came from. So it can be something, well, there's two things. You have to, I think, be very connected with SCAN. You have to go to the meetings to see what are the current topics so that whatever we put on is supporting what SCAN's message is. So that's really important because none of us are operating in any kind of a vacuum. We're trying to get across what are the messages that SCAN is doing, whether it's the provincial election, the federal election, a policy, whatever. So that's number one, to keep connected. And then from that, it's the working with other people and getting ideas. Can you show the second slide? And then, then from there it was like making handmade props. You can see that's paper towel rolls painted black. That's the pipeline. And the banker and the fossil fuel chef are having a little dance in the front. So anyway, you can take those off now. That was our very first, and that was done at Christie Pitt. So that was kind of the first thing that we worked on, and it was a lot of fun. I will say it was nerve-wracking. I found at the very beginning because I had no idea. I don't have a background in street theater at all, but I said I do an early childhood education. So wherever walks of life we're coming from, they come in handy. So we can use all of our various backgrounds and just have a lot of fun with it. I wanted to show you the SCAN has the committee, the Culture and Innovative Tactics Committee, has just developed a tactics kit. It is on the SCAN website, so you can access it from there. And after, when Sally's talking, I'll try and put the link, some of the links into the chat. But if you could open that one up, Eric, and we'll just go to page 9. I don't want to repeat what other people have seen or what you're going to see on here, but I thought that this one, the die-in, we're just going to open that one up. It's a video.
On what website is this on that we could find?
The Seniors for Climate Action Now. If you go to the home page and just scroll down, you'll see the tactics kit, and you just get into it. But I'll also put the link there. So we're just going to open this up just to show you. I don't know, have people already seen this?
No.
Yes?
No.
No? Okay. Well, just to show a little bit of it, because I wanted to show you how music can draw people in. And we'll just...
Sure. Can everyone hear it?
Yeah, now that's the recorded music, so we'll just skip on past a bit till we get to here. This is Wally Brooker. Okay, you can skip past me. I don't want to see it. But costume, here it's important, costume. Okay, and okay, you can move ahead on this. And there, okay, the music again. Okay, and then just move ahead. I want them to see the puppets because you can watch this yourselves after. Okay, there's the big oil puppet. So just stop, mute the sound. Okay, and then you can just let it play, I guess, while I'm talking. So
Sure.
this puppet was lent to us by a group in Toronto called Clay and Paper. And it is a relatively light puppet, but I will say that for seniors, so there's use of the drum and stuff. For seniors, it's even that puppet can be, you know, a bit difficult. So we've got some other suggestions afterwards. But that's a good thing to get in touch with any puppet groups or theater people in your area that make puppets. In fact, they do, this group does street theater, and they're just so generous and willing to help you. In fact, we made some puppets. I might show you after. I made a big peace puppet in a group with them. And there's a lovely owl puppet that Jane Adams has made that she does with the Red Rebels. So anyway, that just gives you an idea of that. So we'll stop that, but just so we can go out of that one. And just so I don't know if there's any questions on that, but it's just to give an idea of the different aspects that you can use, like from your members. You know, people have all these different talents, and so that's one thing. Is there any questions so far, or shall we just keep going?
I'm wondering about your audience. Did people gather round, or what happened?
So this is always a kind of an issue. It was at City Hall,
Right.
and we had a lot of people that came but they were part of SCAN. And then there were some people that were walking by and they stopped to see it. But I will say, you know, getting an audience of people who are not already part of SCAN is a challenge. It remains a challenge. We did it in different, we did the other one, the Recipe for Disaster, in different parks. And I guess some of the things we learned was that I was speaking from a bullhorn then, and it was another person from SCAN came up and said, next time, use a wireless microphone. And so they're quite reasonable. It was $28. So that's what we would use next time. And I do, you know what, I won't go over all this now because I did make sort of a quick thing where I ran through some of the stuff we did and some of the things we learned from it. So the sound is really important for drawing people. A lot of them couldn't really hear everything that was being said. Okay. And then the other one, I just don't want to run over my time here. I think I'm okay. The other one that I wanted to show you, I don't know if people saw the flash mob. That's on page 33 of the tactics thing. So Eric's just going to flip through there. And you can see how this makes a nice little paper sound when we put this together. Okay, there's our flash mob. So if you click on that one.
Is this the video?
This is the video, yeah. So you get the idea, okay? I don't know if I can admit, Letitia. So we can stop that.
Sure.
But the flash mob is really, really popular. And I guess because it's so joyful.
What is
So we are doing it again this year.
What is a flash mob? I don't know what that is.
So yeah, good thing. So when David referred to pop-up, flash mob is as actually perfect example of a pop-up. And you just it's like guerrilla theater where you just go to a site and you do it. And they did it in Ottawa on October the 1st, the same as we did, and they got national CBC coverage, and it was the song that drew the media to cover the story. Um, so does that answer the question of, because I was always confused. I mean, I would kept calling it a flash dance, but anyway, apparently they call that a flash mob when you just show up, uh, a group of people in a certain place. And they're pretty, again, with the community, the dancers in the community, they were so generous. They said, we'll do we'll do rehearsals with you and we'll come and dance. And of course, they're fabulous dancers. So, that was a lot of fun and continues to be. And it's pretty easy to set up, I would say. And there's a sitting version also. So anyway, I'll put some of those links in. But I just wanted to go over, and I won't take too much time, and then we'll go on to Sally. I just wanted to go over some of the ideas, the steps that we took and learned from planning some of the street theater. So the thing I had mentioned before, keep on top of SCAN's campaigns so that you have a focus. For example, expose Poilievre as a climate denier. Get some ideas down on paper, or as Sally did, she orally told us this is, and she'll talk to us after about the street theater we're working on now. But get something down on paper. Sometimes people in the theater call it like a barf copy. And it's just like don't judge yourself or worry about it, because somebody's got to make the move and get an idea down. Even if you're brainstorming, sometimes you got to start with somebody getting something down on paper. Get some this is only how we did it. There's so many different ways to do it. Like I know, so I don't want, this is just ideas. Get some characters into your skit. And ours were very simple. It was like, a good guy and a bad guy. And they could be animals. And in order that you don't have challenges with people having to learn lines or I mean, we did have lots of lines, I'm afraid, in the climate, recipe for disaster, but then you got to have mics and this and that. So a narrator is very good to have, and or chorus, so that, people don't, so that those are the people that are, one person carrying the lines, and then the chorus of people chanting or singing. Start with an introduction, an obstacle, and then the good guy has to overcome 3 obstacles. So it's the whole thing of 3. And some of this was given to me by, I mean, I guess it's basic for anybody that writes this stuff, but the people from Clay and Paper, Tamara, gave me a quick little lesson on 3 obstacles and that are set up by the bad guy. And at the end, your hero either fails or succeeds. And keep it short, 10 to 15 minutes tops. 15 minutes, even a little long. Involve the audience by having it. You can involve them in different ways. One thing we do is have a chant leader, write out the chant so that the audience can chant along with you. Or you can have a chorus that delivers chants and sound effects. Attract attention, as you mentioned at the beginning here, attract attention through bright, over-the-top costumes, props. Large puppets are great for grabbing attention, and it's a good opportunity to form alliances with puppet theater people in your community who may lend you a puppet and show you how to use it effectively. And right now, again, when we get on with Sally's contribution, we're making puppets out of something much, much lighter. Use sound effects to draw the crowd in. And if you're lucky enough to have musicians in the group, ask them if they'd like to work with you. and use percussion instruments and singing in your skit. Have some practices, rehearsals to make sure that you're ready, and have a backup cast. We were all ready to go in Port. Port. It was the residence of the environmental minister at the time, Port Hope or Port Colborne, and the four of us came into contact with COVID, and so we didn't dare go. And so we had to pass these roles on, but luckily we had a script, and people just we ran the props over to them, and they did it, and it got into the little paper there with a quote that had come up during a brainstorming session that had a Fort Head on, and so you never know what will take off, but you have to be prepared with a backup cast and try to keep your cast small if possible, recognizing and that you may not you'll get people helping with chanting when you're there very enthusiastically, but you have to have your cast as such, quite small. And then where to perform it. Well, we can talk about that, with ideas. I'll just throw out a couple here. In parks where there's a lot of foot traffic, because the question was asked, do other people come and watch? We've performed it in seniors' homes, and there you do have a ready-made audience, and pair it with a discussion around the environment on a particular topic. Faith groups, public property, we've done that. We did that in front of Ford's nephew. I forget his first name, doesn't matter. We did it in front of the constituency office there. There was a nice big area, and we did something there. Do it in conjunction with a talk on climate. Mentioned about the wireless microphones, effective for outside. And one of the most important, arrange to have photos taken, and better yet, a video. And I think this is the area that we really struggle with. We seem to only have a couple people that know how to even use their phones and take a video. So I know in our group, Brooke Lynbrook has taken them, and we want her in the play. So this is something I did put down here, like, get your grandchildren to teach you. And I keep meaning to set aside time and do that, because they know how to do this. So that's something is really important, because you want to amplify. You don't want to just do all that work and not have it shown. So like those videos, thank goodness that those were both done by Brooke. Okay, so I'm going to stop my part there, unless there's any questions, so we can move on to Sally. Were there any questions before we move on? Just looking at the time here. No? We're ready to go on to Sally's? Okay.
All right.
Sally.
We'll go on to Sally.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, I was in theater in New York, and I was hired for my trained voice and taught how to manipulate marionettes. And that's how I got into puppetry as a specialty, as an acting job. And the first puppets I worked with were marionettes. They were magnificent hand-carved puppets that could almost stand up by themselves, carved by a Czechoslovakian wood carver. And I thought that's what puppets were. But years and years later, I designed my own puppets made from recycled items, and I call them instant puppets. So really from the sublime to almost the ridiculous has been my journey with puppets. I will show you what I mean by instant puppet, because you can, let me just say that puppets, the essence of puppetry is movement. So anything that moves is a potential puppet part. And if it has an intricate movement, you don't want to recreate that. If you have a pair of scissors with long blades, you can put a cardboard mouthpiece on the blades and then wear a long sleeve that goes over your arm and your hand, and you have a menacing alligator if you wish. Another item, I mean, there's so many items that have built-in movement, are umbrellas. Now, you don't want to have to make an umbrella. The umbrellas are everywhere. And if you were, for instance, wanting to show a flood that overtook the population and went from down and then rose up in waves, and you would get a whole collection of blue umbrellas, sea blue umbrellas, and choreograph them, move them up and down and in and out. It's amazing the dance that you can create with a bunch of umbrellas. I made a witch with a black umbrella and with a spike on one end, as many umbrellas have, and I could put the head on the spike and then operate the umbrella to bring her alive, or a bat. So think in terms, I often go through a hardware store or a kitchen store and see something that moves, and I think, well, that's a puppet part, but I might never know what it actually was manufactured to do, and it doesn't matter. So movement is the essence of puppetry. And the other element that I pay attention to is we look at one another's faces as people, and we look at faces when we're looking at actors, and the same is true of puppets. So you make a head large out of scale to the body, and then the arm, and you only have two hands yourself, so you're holding the puppet with one and bringing the action with the other. The arm can be long out of scale as well. Here I'm going to show you an instant puppet made from recycled materials. And I think plastic jugs are one of the best materials. And you just put on a glove, you've got immediate action, you've got immediate control with your own hand, and you can move you're holding the lid of the jug inside the cloth. So you just take a nice size piece of cloth and attach it to the head and embellish the head. But what makes it really instant, and I'll just show you this by taking it off here. With jugs, you have a lid, and all you do is take your piece of fabric, and this is well and truly screwed on, so it's not going to come off. Lay it across the opening and screw the lid on, and your puppet has both a head and a body, and it's an instant puppet. Wow. I'm going to show you, well, just for a moment, with these wonderful big plastic jugs that you would otherwise just recycle. If you want the puppet to have more than one expression, in this jug, for instance, you can show the puppet, yes, the other side of the puppet. So you have one look and another. So with a little rehearsal, you can operate these, and this size head will communicate for quite a distance on the street and can be seen clearly, as well as all sorts of other recyclables. So think about that as a means of recycling. Any questions about using recycling materials for puppets?
Any questions? No? Okay, we can go on to the next part.
Well, let me describe what scan we are doing at the moment in street theater. When I went from the sublime to the ridiculous with my puppets, I really discovered yard waste bags. And
I'm just going to ask Eric if he can put up the one just quickly to show while you're talking, and then you can take it down. There's
is that the cow? Or?
In the slide? Yes,
no, it's certainly not the cow. It's the two flags that we've been just to show them that what we're using with people in them. I think it's the last one I sent you.
Mm-hmm.
This is some colleagues of mine and I, other professional artists, made a video a couple of years ago, and I think this cow is from that video. And for the puppet portion. And it was a video of climate change through the arts. And I've continued with our scan production now using the yard waste bags because they are accessible. You can buy them at the corner store. They are very tough, and puppet materials have to put up with a lot of, as I say, movement. And
Sorry to interrupt, Sally. I think you can take it down now, Eric. They've seen it. Thank you.
So they are tough and they are inexpensive, very cheap material, and they're biodegradable. So you have all points covered with yard waste bags, and you can make them, as you see, into a big cow head, or also in our video, they were made into trees with limbs, and they take paint very nicely. So the production we're doing now is using make 3 puppets where the puppeteers wear the puppet from their head down, and the puppeteers and others have painted the puppets. They take paint very nicely. And I mean, you think of what a yard waste bag goes through sitting at the curb for many days in rain and sleet and snow. And so we have Canada puppet and we have a US puppet in our opening scene, and the drama unfolds in 4 scenes. The first one we call Drill Baby Drill, and we have the US puppet with a little control piece that's used in marionettes, and big rope or string attached to the Canadian puppet, who is the puppet. So the puppet is operating the puppet. And for words, we have a chorus on either side of the playing area that are chanting words to with the chorus of Drill Baby Drill. And then the third puppet enters for the second scene, and she is the earth. And she has, again, a leaf bag puppet on, all painted with images of the beauties of earth. And she has in each hand a poi. You may not know what that is. It's an ancient item used in parades and circuses. And it's she comes in spinning one around and then adding the other and making an absolute storm of fire and lightning. And the chorus does the sound effects for that storm with their mouths and their hands. And we have this vicious storm going on, and the puppets, 2 puppets, just are defeated by this storm. Now, this would be a good moment, if you like, Ginny, do you want to demonstrate a
I am.
Play?
I don't know if anyone can see me wildly.
Can you see the storm?
I'm trying.
Feel free to talk. All of you, you don't have to be muted.
Yeah.
Looks great.
Okay, great.
Looks great.
Yeah.
So following the storm,
sorry, the poi is even more dramatic, but it's a little too big to use in the kitchen.
What is the poi? Can you show me what
might not be caught on the camera either, but yeah.
Sorry,
No,
someone had a question.
What is a poi? Can you show me what it is?
Yeah, I'm going to show you. And you can Google it, P-O-I. I guess S is 2. I'm not sure.
No, I think it's just POI. It's from New Zealand originally.
There's a weight.
You can order them. Be very careful to, I mean, they'll show you what a poi is, P-O-I. But make sure that you order a practice poi.
What is it? I can't even see it. I just see the scarf.
Okay, so on the end, there's a place that the fingers go.
Okay.
Then there's a long string, and then there's a weighted piece. Sorry, there's a weighted piece, and then the fabric is attached. And when you move them, they really swirl around. But if you just Google YouTube, oh my goodness, there's all these skills as to how to, that you can really develop it, and and of course you can order them on Amazon. But
Yeah.
anyway, but you can make them yourself, and I've just made a very small adapted one that Sally told me about. Where did it go? Oh, here. These two little ones is just a dowel with a little hook screw in the end. They have to be made a little bit longer, and some fabric. And so that's a kind of a simpler way to do
What
it.
does it do? What does
It attracts attention. You're waving it around rhythmically and in certain sequence. So it's like somebody juggling or somebody doing whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. So somebody that would be great, if we did have young people, because they could probably do it a little bit better. But anyway, we're adapting it for this play.
They're very effective. You can do it over your head, over the other puppets' heads, on the side, and then once you get the momentum going with one, you add the next one, so that you have all kinds. And then it's with the silver fabric, it's like lightning going off. The red fabric is like flames, and it speeds up. So, or rather, the puppeteer will speed it up. So she starts slowly and she builds up the momentum, she builds up the speed, and the chorus does the sound effects again low and then builds them up to a peak, so that you end up with a raging storm. And it does take a lot of space, which makes it particularly appropriate for outdoor use. Where there are no ceilings to get in the way or big pieces of furniture. And and it is very effective. And in this case, for a storm, it's quite effective to see. So when the storm dies down and the puppets collapse, we then have a little Canadiana in that Canada takes over the Canadian puppet, who is a Canadian flag in the front, all painted, will lift the U.S. puppet off, which is a U.S. flag. And for the first time, the audience will see the back side of the waste bag, which is not painted. It is just a waste bag. And the Canadian puppet will pick up the prop drill that they've used in Drill Baby Drill and pick up the control piece where the US has made a puppet of Canada, and they will drop them very visually into the bag, Canada will, and then take the bag off and remove her bag. And we go into scene 3.
Sally,
yes,
we have a question. Catherine Gibson, she wants to know, what does the chorus with the poi sing?
What does
yeah, I could maybe answer that quickly. That it's the chorus doesn't have the poi, the earth person, one person has that, but the chorus does have a song.
Yeah, that's just coming up now.
Yeah, okay.
They haven't sung before now. They've made sound effects for the storm. So now the chorus members pick up long pieces of fabric, sari fabric, which is brightly colored and about 12 feet long. And in pairs, they hold either end of the fabric and take it up and down. The second one comes and does that, and one person from that pair slips underneath, so that then the fabric is crossed in the middle, then the next pair, and the next pair, up to 5 pieces of cloth. And all of this is brought together. It all goes up and down together, and stays together. It's quite nice, all different bright colors. And then the chorus sings the song that they have put together, which is to the tune of This Land Is My Land. So everyone knows the tune, but it's This Earth Is My Earth. And they together have written 3 or 4 verses for that. We also have a musician in the group, and we'll see how he might be best used with his guitar. But that demonstrates our diversity with the color and all the differences and the coming together to care for one another. And then the fourth scene, the last scene, is when the earth brings a prop, when all of the fabric is up high at the end of the song, fourth comes down, she goes underneath to the other side and sets the prop on the ground, which is a length of dryer hose attached to a fly swatter. So the bottom of the dryer hose is wired onto the swatter end of a fly swatter. She stands on the end of the long handle. So this anchors the dryer hose, which is squished right down. It just does that naturally. It has a handle on the top ring, and she reaches down and slowly grows the stem of this to-be flower up to its 4-foot height and reaches in to the inside of the top of the dryer hose and pulls out a big fluffy flower with leaves. And while she does that, the chorus makes bird sounds or babbling brook sounds, lovely nature sounds. And that is the end of the street play. Difficult to express in words. You really need to see it. And I hope all of you will come on April 26th to Allen Gardens and see it done. But are there questions that you need answered that perhaps I can answer with words now? So all of the verbiage is done by the chorus, and the puppeteers are actors.
Thank you, Sally. So this is, I think, perhaps the most involved street theater that we have done, and with the use of the fabrics and the poi and everything. And it has taken rehearsals. But one of the things that happens is stuff moves so fast that we have to sometimes this is for a specific purpose, April the 26th. But right now we've got a federal election, and we've got, we want to use street theater in these things. So I just want to show you a couple things. And you might have seen them. This is also on the tactics kit. And another one of our members had said they did this with school kids. And you just cut out just cardboard, and you cut out a circle a little bit smaller, you can see, than your just your face goes through. And on one side we had the scan member, and then on the other side, this was for RBC. We've got the RBC CEO, and then you do chants with it. And this is just, again, acrylic paint is great because it's great in the rain. So they're light and they last and they can be used for anything. So I think those are great ideas that are in the kit. And we just have a little bit of time left, but I wondered if people were game, if you wanted to try a very quick brainstorming to see if it could come up with something, or at least the skeleton of something that could be used quick for the federal election. And one of the ideas that I saw in the tactics kit was giving an award. So you're going to, give an award to, either the biggest fossil award, or the biggest greenwasher, the biggest climate denier, and then what you can build from, what you can build from there. And I saw that Greenpeace had done it with, I think it was the Profiter Profiter of the Year award for climate. And so I thought we could take a few minutes now. Eric has set up a whiteboard for us. And Eric, do they type the things into the chat, and then is that how this works?
No, verbal is better for me because
Oh,
I
verbal.
check the
Okay. And
chat
then,
and share at the same time. Although if someone does type in this chat, if Ginny, if you read the chat out to me,
sure.
that would work as well. But
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Oh, everybody ran away, did they? Are you still there, guys?
Yep, I'm still here.
Okay. I just see Sally and myself. It looks like everybody left the room.
Oh, I think it's because the white
Oh,
is.
it's because I have them
Oh, okay,
spotlighted.
okay. So this is not meant to give pressure. This is meant to just have a little fun and think, okay, maybe this is something we can do right now for this election. So the first thing we got to decide is what award do you want this to be? We've
Oh,
got Letitia and Catherine. Go ahead, Letitia.
can't hear.
Well, Letitia,
Sorry, I'm muted,
yep.
yes. I was thinking people could approach Polyev to beg or plead with him for, you could have people playing children, mothers, grandparents, workers, like exposing one of his lies, one of his stupid slogans.
So could we have it biggest liar of the year award?
Pinocchio.
Well, it wouldn't be the same.
Okay.
There are other liars bigger than him on their I mean, like, we've got a huge liar south of us, so let's get another.
Well, it
Okay.
could be
Well,
biggest
do we want it,
Canadian
do we
liar.
want it, like Letitia's already developing a whole other street theater thing. And that is great too. I don't want to stop that. I'm just thinking of how we can focus just to get this one done. Like, you like the idea of the award for the biggest something or other.
Well,
Well,
it could be the biggest
David's
Canadian
suggestion.
liar.
Sorry, Catherine, and then back to Letitia. Go ahead, Catherine.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I like the drill baby drill for us because it would be easier for us somebody to wear a drill baby drill with the US flag and then somebody to wear this earth is our earth with a Canada flag and an something that would represent an electrical grid. And I don't know, a light bulb and an electrical something. And then, we sing, this earth is our earth, and we go down the street.
So this is great. So this is looking at the ideas, some of the ideas that Sally presented, and then adapting them. And that's great. And that's the other thing I meant to say, steal ideas all the time. Nobody's idea is like, they're all up there for grabs. And so that's a great idea. So it's saying here, yeah, I was thinking about that electrical grid, and how they have those little lights. If you did it in the dark, you could actually be joined together with the little lights.
Good idea.
But using the song. So we'll share the song with people, okay?
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what I can't share it on the chat right now. I don't have it ready.
Thank you.
But somebody, I think we want to put it in the newsletter or something so that people can see it, because we want them prepared, those who come April 26th. So we can certainly share that, share with each other the chants. And then so I'm still on this whole thing about why I like this thing of the year award is because it's sarcasm and it's so easy to do. So you can just write up a big glowing speech about somebody, but all the things they did were so nasty. And you can have somebody in the one that they show on the tactics thing, the guy's wearing kind of a skeleton costume and he's giving the awards. And then have somebody in their suit come up and accept this. They're either the biggest billionaire of the year award, or biggest greed of the year award. Anything like that you can play with, and any idea.
I like David's suggestion of the Pinocchio Award.
The Pinocchio Award, that is
David's,
fantastic.
Suggestion at the beginning, and I think that would be an excellent one.
Right. And you can quite easily make, a face. You can even make a growing nose, but you can certainly make the Pinocchio Award, and it would be so humorous to drop this in.
Another use for dryer hose.
Aha. And imagine doing that in front. Well, that's another idea. So let me ask you, one of them was on, costumes. It's like, where would you do these things? So in your own community, what where would you what are your ideas for where you would present this? Let's say at the federal election. When they have an all candidates meeting, we have done them before where there's often an area outside of that. We've done, we had a singing group going there and we had, done rewritten words to songs. So you can do it in front of an election, an all candidates meeting, or even a media event where they're taping the all candidates there. So there's a lot of people that are going into those bigger meetings, and we've handed out leaflets in front of them. You can have a little theater piece like this. This doesn't take a lot of space.
Actually, anywhere where people gather, and they don't have to be gathering for political reasons, but where there would be a large gathering.
So any areas where there would be a large gathering.
In New York, you would do that in the lineup for people going into the theater who are lined up all the way down the sidewalk. So, and we have lineups for things.
Someone suggested at the GMM that we do it in front of a Tesla dealership. That was one of the suggestions. And then, finding out in your community what are the parks that have the most foot traffic. Okay, so what have we got here? Singing group. Yeah, I really like that idea. I think that a lot can be done with that Pinocchio award. And who do you think should get it this year? Any ideas on who would get the Pinocchio award?
Well, Trump is the biggest liar. I mean, we don't have a Canadian liar as big as he is.
Oh,
well, yes, Trump is, but then we come back to also what is our role as SCAN, and is it effective for us to highlight Trump, or is it more effective to highlight something that's happening, here?
That's why I was suggesting the biggest Canadian liar.
The Fortis ads would be good there. The
Sorry,
Fortis ads who have a natural gas. Use natural gas because it's going to help improve our environment, or they say something like that on their ads every night.
And who says?
Fortis.
Oh, right. Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah, yeah.
Natural gas. Yeah.
Right.
Also,
okay.
The CEOs of the fossil fuel companies are liars.
The CEOs of the fossil fuel companies. So you can do your little bit of your little bit of research, get some names, and the costumes can be very simple. I mean, you're going to be dressed up, very excited, very proud to be accepting this reward or this award, and all these actually horrible, horrible things you did are being said, but it's being said in a way of, that you're wonderful, you have polluted more than anyone else, that kind of thing. Okay, so does that give some ideas of things? Do you think some of this is doable in fairly short turnaround time, something like that?
The only thing is, I wonder if we could have the verse to "This Earth is Our Earth" to sing the verse words to that. If that's possible,
we could sing it quickly.
Great.
I could sing one verse.
Yes, and I'm going to grab the other one while Sally does that one.
Oh, good.
This earth is my earth. This earth is your earth. From immigrations to all First Nations, this earth is our earth to love and care for. We, our strength is in our strength. Let's see, our strength comes from diversity. I haven't quite got that. That's one verse.
Thank you.
Well,
So
I'm
that
afraid.
gives an idea of the kind of lyrics that.
Oh, I know where the other one is.
Thank you.
Okay, just one second here. I have to look in my email here. We just sent it out. Sent.
If people, I don't know, Eric, whether this is possible, but it's a small group. If people are accessible by email or whatever method, we could forward lyrics and contact information from our group of SCAN. With the date of the performance, we could send a little information sheet to those who are in attendance here as a select group. Is that possible, Eric?
Yes, absolutely. That's definitely possible, and I think that's a great idea. We'll be sending the recording already. We'll likely send a copy of this brainstorming document here to people, so we can certainly include the verse, the lyrics to the song. And if there's other materials, we can add those as well. Yeah, we'll be sending them out to everyone who signed up, not just people here, so everyone gets a copy.
And also, as you're saying, the date and where your skit is being performed, that would be great.
Yeah, so all of that is going to be publicized. It is April the 26th, which is Seniors for Climate Day across Canada. So we should spend a little bit of time checking in with our Guelph and Vancouver people here. But because this one is Toronto based and it's at Allen Gardens from 1 to 4. So that's when ours is happening. And Barb, you're in the two Raging Grannies, Barb and Nora. Do you want to talk to us a bit if there's some
I'm lost here. I don't understand what the song is going to do and where we're going to fit it in. And I don't understand what all those words are. I'm completely lost.
Sure.
Oh,
Sarah,
Sarah.
the song fits into the street theater play, so it doesn't really stand exactly on its own.
No, I know that, but where is the play that it fits into?
The play will be done on April the 26th.
Oh, I see. So I don't understand what I'm supposed to do with it. I don't understand.
Oh, well, you if you are available and if you live in Toronto, you can come and the words will be up and people can sing along.
So where is it? April 25th? Where?
It's April 26th, but you know what? Scan's going to come out with tons of information on this. So it's not there'll be a lot coming out in the newsletter and the bulletin and on the website.
April 25th, 1 to 4, where?
26th.
Allen Gardens.
April 26th?
26th, yeah.
26th.
So, okay, so I did want to call on Barb and Nora because they are involved in the rage. You're both involved. If I got that right, both of you in the rage.
I'm involved with SCAN, and Nora is definitely a driving force in our Raging Grannies. And so Raging Grannies, I think, are going to be appearing on the 15th at an all candidates meeting. We've got a meeting coming up about that. SCAN Guelph, we're a much smaller center than Toronto, so we're combining our efforts with some of the other environmental groups here. But we ourselves we're doing a presentation at the senior center here on heat. What would you describe for people who want to get heat pumps and that sort of thing. We're going to show the Later is Too Late film on the Wednesday of that week. And then we're joining in with some other groups on the 26th is actually Earth Day. And I can't recall what it is that the other groups are doing, but we're joining in with them as well. So we have a GCAN group here, something called Emerge. So that's it for us so far for that week. We're talking about maybe doing a flash mob at our local farmers market.
Ah,
There's enthusiasm. I'm on the coordinating committee for SCAN, and I find that our Raging Grannies are much more enthusiastic about this sort of thing than our coordinating committee is. They're quite conservative in terms of getting out there on the street, but yeah, and thank you. Tonight was I really enjoyed that brainstorming methodology. I think that's great. And I think
thank you, Eric.
Yeah, thank you,
that
Eric.
happened.
And
certainly.
and Nora's been a Raging Granny for many years, so she'll probably have something to say about street theater.
Oh, I don't know about that, but just no, I think all your ideas is great. It's getting people to just go and be fearless, which is, once they've done one, they can see that it's easy because you're a group. You're not out there solo. Like you would feel like an idiot if you were out there solo, but when you're out there with a group, then it's doable. The issue, of course, is where do you do it to be effective? And how do you be effective? And that really is very difficult because the farmers market is a great place to be doing things because most of the people there are buying local, blah blah. So you're to a certain extent preaching to the converted, but everybody goes to a market too. So I think it's great. I think your idea of a flash mob is great, Barb. Keep going for that. But
can I just ask you, is the flash mob, are you referring to the dancing one or something else?
I'm not it's another group. It's the Guelph Wellington Social Justice group that are actually spearheading this. There's a couple of people that are very enthusiastic. So I'm not sure what they have planned. I don't know, but we'll join in. I mean, I'll join in, and I think the Raging Grannies will too, whether it's dancing or singing.
Okay, that's fantastic. If it's the dancing, I did put a lot of links on there for the tutorials because we have a lot of those available. But people know Raging Grannies, they are brilliant at taking lyrics of song or taking songs that were familiar and then changing the words. And for so many occasions, and they're there, they've got their words ready. And so that's another really terrific way of doing it. So
we have a brilliant songwriter, and I think she might even be on this call, but she's being very quiet. Her name is Barbara Allen, and she's been creating songs for us she's really, really clever at that sort of thing.
So let's share. We still have to find ways. I think that there is a link on the tactics kit where you can share things. But other than that, through the emails anyway at this point, but certainly through the tactics kit. And I was trying to get the words. I've got the second verse here, but I was trying to get the words sent to Eric so he can put it in the chat. But I've not been successful in sending all of this. So
and if you send it to me in the next couple of days, I can include it in the post workshop email.
Oh, okay, that's great. So yeah, we'll do that. So the words to that, and you can have the chants, but we want your stuff too. So okay, so is there anything else before we wrap up? Any other comments from people? Because we're getting close to it. So I hope that was I hope there was some inspiring things and for people to take away from this from the workshop. And thank you, Sally, and who have we got? Catherine, Barb, Nora. Okay.
And thank you, because that was fun to hear what you've been doing and good to see your photos and pictures. So that was terrific. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, really nice meeting you guys.
Likewise.
Okay.
Likewise.
Inspiring. Keep up the great work.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Very nice meeting you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Eric.
Thank you very much.
Okay.